All right, so in this video, in this training, we're going to be talking about, again, one of my favorite things to talk about, and it kind of goes hand in hand. It definitely goes hand in hand with prospecting. Today we're going to be talking about overcoming objections on the phone. And I got to tell you, objections are one of the biggest things that make people scared of the phone, and I don't get it. So often throughout my career, which I've spent almost all of my career on the phone doing some type of phone sales, and I learned to love it way early on. But it's amazing to me over the course of the last 15, 20 years how many people I've met who are just absolutely terrified of the phone. They're scared to pick it up, they're scared to hear no, they're scared to get hung up on, they're scared to hear rejection. And I gotta tell you, it's kind of the exact opposite mindset that I took on early on. When I got my first job and I was on the phone and I was making calls and I was really, really bad. I sucked really bad. And I got hung up on a lot. It was kind of a high pressure sales job. I got hung up on a lot. People were mean and nasty. But I took on the mindset early on that I absolutely loved the phone because I could get hung up on, I could make a fool of myself, I could screw up, I could say something wrong, and the worst, absolute worst that can happen to me is somebody could be mean to me, or somebody can hang up the phone on me, and then I get to move on to the next phone call and not worry about it. Soon after adapting that mindset, I became a student of really learning what made up a good phone call. I read a ton of books, watched a ton of videos, and really wanted to perfect my craft. And really early on, I learned, and I think it was one of the pivotal points in my sales career, I learned very early on that objections aren't anything personal. Objections aren't directed toward you. Objections don't mean you suck, I don't like what you're doing, don't call me anymore, you're horrible, or you're a horrible person. It doesn't mean any of those things. I learned very early on, not only from being on the phone, but kind of looking at my own actions and ways that I handled situations. I learned very early on that an objection, and specifically on the phone, all an objection is a person's natural reaction to being on the phone or being approached by somebody that they don't know yet, that they're not comfortable with, somebody that's a stranger to them. And where this first settled in with me, and where it first started making a lot of sense, is think about when you go to a store. I could go to a store, and I'm going to that store to go shopping for suits. And I walk in the front door, and I have no clue where the suits are, but I know that I'm there to look at suits. As soon as I walk in that door, somebody, specifically, especially when you go into like a Macy's or a Dillard's or a Burdines or something of that sort, when you walk into those stores, people are going to approach you right away and say, "Can I help you? Is there anything I can help you with? What are you looking for?" And every time, 100% of the time, what do you think my reaction is? I'm just looking. I'm just browsing, right? But in my mind, I am looking for something specific. I could use their help. I could ask them to direct me to where the suits are. But because this is a stranger, because I feel they're a salesperson, even though they're selling perfume and they're selling ladies' perfume and I have no interest in it, because they're a salesperson, because they're a stranger, because it's a little uncomfortable, my natural reaction is I'm just looking. I can continue to walk through that store, and I get through the perfume section, and I get to the shoe section, and when I get to the shoe section, still on my journey to the suits, I get to the shoe section, and somebody there says, "Can I help you?" And I'm still going to say, "I'm just looking," right? Same thing. I've never been to a car lot. I've never walked onto a car lot without the intention of purchasing a car. I don't spend my Friday afternoons or my Saturday mornings strolling through car lots just to look at cars. I go there with one intention, and it's to buy a car. But as soon as I walk into that car lot and all those salespeople are standing there, they're going to ask me if I need help, and I'm going to tell them I'm just looking. I'm going to tell them I'm just looking until I'm ready to talk to them and I need their help, or B, until that guy approaches me and engages me, not like a salesperson, but just engages me in a conversation, and most importantly, starts asking me questions. That's when I'm going to finally engage with somebody. So it's the same dynamic on the phone. You're going to get so-called objections from people, and it's simply because they don't know who you are, they don't know why you're calling, they're not familiar with you, and it's a natural human reaction to put up the stop sign and to try to stop you in your tracks before they get comfortable with you. So today I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking to you about the common objections. And the great thing about what we do is we're not calling anybody to sell anything, right? We're calling to them to engage them in a conversation about real estate. Now, 90% of the leads that we have and that we're calling, these are people that came to our website. They went through a process. They signed up. They registered. They put in their correct information to get to our website. They requested information through Realtor.com. They requested information through Zillow. They called on one of our signs. They called on one of our marketing pieces. So most of the time, you're going to be calling and engaging with people that came to us, right, for information. So the first good piece of news is we're not selling anything. We're calling to exchange information. We're calling to add value. We're calling to see if there's anything that we can do to help and to make sure that they're utilizing our tools and our technology, which they came to us for. Our search websites, our property search websites, one of our listings. So we're calling to give information and to give value and to help. The other good news about the objections that we handle in real estate, that there's literally 4 or 5 of them. There are 4 or 5 objections that you will hear over and over. And the awesome part is 2 or 3 of them are basically the same objection. Knowing this, and after we go through this, and after you spend some time on the phone, you're going to see that these objections truly are very easy to get past. They're very easy to deal with, and you're going to notice really quickly that that's all it is. It's just a knee-jerk reaction from somebody that doesn't know you yet, and once you warm them up and get them to let the guard down, the dynamic of the phone call changes together. So before we get into those objections, I just want to give a couple pointers. First of all, when you get an objection, no matter what it is, if somebody says, I was just browsing, I'm just looking, I'm not ready to move right now, whatever the objection they give you, the first rule is don't freak out. Don't freak out, don't get scared, don't get nervous. I can't tell you how many people, when somebody says, oh, I just registered on your website, I'm just looking. I see people get flustered. I see people not know what to say. They don't know where to go, they don't know what to do. Well, the good news is, of course, they came to our website because they were just looking. We have property search websites. The way we got their information, the reason they registered is because they were just looking at properties. So don't freak out. No matter what the objection is, realize that it's just their natural reaction. It's just them pumping the brakes really quick, and all you have to do is get past that objection. So the first thing is don't get flustered. Second thing is make the person feel comfortable. Make the person giving you the objection feeling comfortable. Many times, most of the time, the way to make them feel comfortable is agree with them. Just simply agree with them. Make them feel okay about what they're saying. It's really hard for somebody to argue with you and to give you pushback if you're agreeing with what they say. So you'll find with many of these objections we're going to go through, all we're simply going to do is confirm and repeat what it is that they said to us. We're going to let them know that we understand. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is the way to get past any objections, right? There's 2 ways. First is to add value, right? First is to let them know that you've got something of value to give them. You've got something of value, whether that be information, whether that be information on the market or the neighborhoods or the area, or information on the website to get them set up the correct way. But value, right, guys? The whole core of our culture and what we do is to create a world-class experience for these clients that we're working with, and that's through constantly giving them value. So when you give somebody value, they let their guard down and you become their friend because you've got something to offer them. You've got something they want, whether that be information about the market or the website, just like I said. And the other way to overcome objections is simply by asking really good questions, right? When you ask really good questions, you're able to engage people into a conversation. And once you are able to take an objection, kind of deflect that objection, agree with them, and then ask them a question, now you put them in the driver's seat to where they're going to be talking. Guys, I got to tell you, no matter who you meet, no matter who the lead is, no matter who the person is, people love to talk about themselves. People love to talk about their situation. And remember, we're talking about buying and selling homes. Guess what? It's an exciting thing for people. Anytime somebody comes to our website to look at properties or to purchase a home or to sell a home, it's exciting. It's fun. It's a monumental moment. They're moving up. They're moving to Florida. They're moving neighborhoods. They're moving school districts. So you get to talk to somebody in these leads about something that they're excited about. And once you start asking them questions, now they actually get to start talking about their situation and these things that they're excited about. So that's what we're going to be covering over the course of the next few minutes. So let's take a deep dive into some of the common objections that you'll be dealing with and that you'll be hearing. And again, it's the same over and over and over. And if I can make one recommendation, become a ninja. Become a rock star at handling these objections right out of the gate, and it's going to make your trajectory and your learning curve so much better and so much faster because it'll allow you to engage in better conversations. And many times, if you take that first objection, that phone call is dead and it's not going anywhere. That's not many times, that's every time. But most of the time, when you get past that objection and you get that person to start talking, you'll find that this person that just gave you one or two or three objections all of a sudden is telling you their life story, everything about them, their goals, their dreams, their passions, where they want to move, how much they want to spend, when they want to be there, whether they're pre-approved or how much cash they have in the bank. And you get there by simply getting past the objection and asking questions about this person's situation. Okay? So the first objection that we hear, and we hear it very often, and I don't even think it's an objection. I think it's just the reality. I'm just looking, right? Guys, most of these leads that we get come from internet leads, come from our search, our property search websites. We've got multiple websites. They've got every property that are available here in Central Florida. It's updated every 5 minutes. We hands down have the best technology in the industry. Commissions Inc. is a platform that we use, which you guys will be doing multiple trainings on, that we generate hundreds of leads a month. And guys, the way that we generate those leads is people go on the internet, they search for homes in a particular area, homes for sale in Orlando, homes for sale in Winter Park. The search results come up, our website's at the top, they click on our website, and they have to go through a series of 5 or 6 steps before they ultimately become a lead. They have to enter their name, their phone number, their email address. They have to answer a series of questions, and then voila, like magic, they become a lead in our system, right? What I want you to realize right out of the gate is these people registered on the website for one reason, and that was to look at homes. They didn't register on the website to talk to a realtor. They didn't register on our website to hear how awesome we are or how many homes we sold or how great you are or what we do. They registered on that website to look at properties. So many times when you call people, whether it be a brand new lead or whether it be a lead that you pull out of one of our pools that has been, that's been marinating in there for months or weeks or maybe even a couple years, many times the people will say, I'm just looking. I came to the website just because I wanted to look. I just wanted to see what was available. Guys, this is hands down the easiest objection to handle. And the way you handle the I'm just looking objection is by saying, of course you're just looking. Hundreds of people register on our website each month, and they come to our website just to look at properties. That's actually the reason I was calling. We just like to make sure that everybody who registers on the website that's looking at properties, we just want to make sure that you're looking at the correct properties. Okay? Guys, realize that our website has over 10,000 active properties in Central Florida, and it's updated every 5 minutes with new properties. We want to make sure that when these leads come in and they're looking, we want to make sure that we narrow it down and we show them the correct results. We want to make sure that we set up a search that shows them the area and the price range and the bedrooms and the bathrooms and the houses that interest them the most. If we don't find out that information, then guess what? They're not going to stay engaged with our website, and they're just going to go on and start registering at other websites. So when people tell you that I'm just looking, all you have to do is say, of course you're just looking. Everybody who registers on our website is just looking. That's exactly the reason I wanted to call. I just want to make sure that we get you set up to see the correct properties and that we're showing you the properties that interest you the most. You can also say, if somebody says, I'm just looking, I'm just looking. Okay, you're just looking. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly were you looking for? What exact type of properties were you looking for? What areas were you looking in? But again, just confirm what they're saying. No matter what way you go with that, I completely understand that you registered or that you're on our website because you were just looking. I just want to make sure that you're seeing the correct properties. So if you don't mind me asking, what exactly are you looking for? If you don't mind me asking, what exact information were you looking to find? If you don't mind me asking, let's talk a little bit more about the property that interests you the most, so that way I can get you set up to look at the correct listings. Okay, so it's a very easy one, but most importantly for you is realize that when they say they're just looking, that's not an objection, that's the reality. They were just looking, but we've got a lot of different ways that we can help them, primarily by finding out more about what it is that they're looking for so we can get them set up to see the correct listings. Okay. Another one that you'll hear sometimes is I'm not interested. Right? This is one that you'll hear, and I don't really get it. And again, to me, that not interested is probably the biggest sign or the biggest objection that people are just putting their guard up. I'm not interested, right? Well, how can they be not interested when they really don't know what you're calling for? What are they not interested in? You haven't even told them what you're calling for. You haven't even got it out. You haven't even asked them any questions. You haven't even added any value. You haven't even told them how great the website is. You haven't even educated them. So how do they know that they're not interested when you haven't even talked to them at all? So again, guys, this is a natural reaction. This is someone they think you're trying to sell them something. They think you're trying to sell them something. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Think about if somebody calls you out of the blue and you don't know who they are, right? You don't even know who they are. You don't know why they're calling, but the natural reaction is just to say, I'm not interested. So there are a couple ways that to deal with this particular objection. And again, the first way to deal with it is to completely agree with them. Hey, listen, I completely understand that this call probably caught you off guard. I'd probably react the same way as well. But if you don't mind me asking, what are you not interested in? I haven't even mentioned why I'm calling yet. Right? By asking them that question, it makes them stop and think. Oh, I'm not interested in whatever it is you're calling about. Okay, well the reason I was calling is you registered on my website. You were looking for properties for sale here in the Orlando area, and I just wanted to make sure that we get you set up to see the correct listings and that we're sending you the correct information when we're sending out those property updates. Again, you can see that this I'm not interested, the way to handle that, the rebuttal to that objection is almost the same as the I'm just looking. So if somebody says they're not interested, just let them know that you're calling to make sure they're seeing the correct properties, and ask them. If they say, I'm not interested. Okay, if you don't mind me asking, what are you not interested in? I haven't even mentioned what I'm calling about yet. You were searching properties for sale on our website. Are you planning on purchasing a home in the future? Are you planning on making a move in the future? Is there any particular reason why you registered on our website? Is there anything in particular that you are looking for? And again, I'm always going to frame that with, because I just want to make sure that everybody who's registered on our website, that you're getting the most relevant listings sent to you on a daily basis, that we're showing you the correct properties, and we're giving you the most accurate information. Okay? The third one that you're going to hear And this is one of my favorites, and this is the one that I watch scare so many people off, and I think it's almost comical. You'll talk to people that will say, I'm already working with an agent. I already have an agent. I'm already working with someone. And this is one of my favorites. On one hand, guys, for somebody that's brand new, that hasn't made a lot of these calls or talked to a lot of these people, that seems like a deal killer right there. Well, why would I want to continue talking to them if they have an agent? Why would I want to continue with the conversation if they're already working with somebody? Why would I want to step on anybody else's toes? There's no opportunity there. That couldn't be any further from the truth. And let me spend a minute or two telling you why. First of all, 99% of the time, when somebody tells you that they're already working with another agent, they're full of crap. They're not working with another agent, right? Maybe they've talked to another agent. Maybe they registered on 5 or 6 other websites and they've heard from other agents. Maybe they've been in conversation with somebody else. Maybe another agent sending them emails with properties. But I can tell you, 99% of the time, when there is a person who is loyal to another agent, who has a working relationship with another agent, who is working with an agent who's doing a really good job for them and showing them the correct listings and being responsive and answering all their questions and being a professional, 99% of the time when somebody's working with an agent like that, they're not registering on our website to look at properties. Right? The way to look at it is when they come to our website and they come to search properties, there's a variety of reasons why they're here. A, because they're really not working with another agent. If they are working with a so-called agent, maybe that agent doesn't have a website that's showing them the properties that they like to see. Maybe that agent isn't doing a good job at communicating with them or responding to them when they have a question. Maybe that agent isn't adding value. Maybe that agent isn't getting back to them. Maybe they have been working with an agent for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months, because I've seen this many times and we've converted many of these leads into our clients. Maybe they've been working with an agent for a long time and that agent's just not a good agent. Guys, we work in an industry where there's a bunch of subpar people that we're up against. So maybe that agent has got this person into 5 or 6 multiple offer situations and this person's lost out on every one of them. Maybe this agent isn't doing a good job at suggesting new properties or new areas or getting creative. Guys, there are many times that we talk to these clients, we offer them a solution to their problems, they decide to work with us and we put them under contract in the next 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days. So regardless of their situation, if they tell you that they have an agent, it's my challenge at this point, because I actually love these phone calls, and you'll learn to love them too once you get good at handling that objection. Once I hear that, I have to go into question asking mode. I have to go into discovery mode. So the easiest way is when somebody says that they're working with an agent, start asking them questions. Okay, that's great. I understand you're working with an agent, and I certainly don't want to step on their toes, but if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been working with this agent? How did you meet this agent? Are you loyal to this agent? Have you worked with this agent in the past? Have you met face-to-face with this agent before? Have you gone out and looked at homes with this agent? Guys, that series of questions right there is going to give you a lot of clarity on the value of that relationship that they have, because the questions are pretty simple when you ask those questions. How long have you known this agent? Oh, we've been working with her for the last 20 years and we've bought 3 homes with them. You're probably not going to want to pursue that client and try to ask them a lot more questions about their agent. How did you meet this agent? Oh, well, I just registered on a website and I talked to him a while back. I got referred to them by my cousin's uncle's brother's sister, and I know that she works full-time as a bartender, and the agent, she sells real estate on the side. How'd you meet this agent? I met them a while back, but they don't respond to my text. She doesn't respond to my text messages all that often. So by asking these questions, you're going to get a true sense. And what I'm looking for by asking that first series of questions is I'm looking to see where the loyalty is. I'm looking to see the pain points. I'm looking to find where this agent either exists or doesn't exist. Is it a long-lasting relationship? Is it somebody they just met? Is it somebody that this lead is very, very happy with because the agent's doing a really good job for them? Or is there a lot of areas where the agent's dropping the ball and we can offer a lot of additional value and potentially give that client a lot better service? Because I can tell you, 90% of the time when somebody starts off the call with I'm already working with an agent, 90% of the time you have an opportunity to get that business and to serve that client and that lead at a much higher level than this so-called other agent is currently, right? So the other thing that you want to do is that after you ask those first questions and you see that this isn't really a solid agent and they're not really working with them all that much and they're not really giving them great service, now I just want to shed some doubt, right? Okay, listen, I'm not really sure what your relationship it looks like with your agent, and I certainly don't want to step on any toes. But what I do find, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, is typically when we have people register on our website that are working with another agent, the reason they end up on our website is because their other agent is dropping the ball in one way or another. Maybe they don't have, a website to show them every property that's available here in Central Florida like we do. So maybe that's why you landed on our website, because your agent's not showing you the correct properties. Maybe your agent isn't available. Maybe they're too busy or they're not really responsive on your request or on your questions. Maybe your agent is frustrating you because you've been out looking at homes and you feel like you're just spinning your wheels because they're showing you the wrong homes. But typically we find that when people land on our website, it's because they're not happy with the agent that they're currently working with. And Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, I don't know if that's your situation at all, but you know what? Since you're already on my website, let me do this for you. Let me get you set up to see the correct properties. Let's really hone in on exactly what it is you're looking for. I'll get you set up on the website. As soon as I'm done with that, I'll send you a link with all the properties. I'll show you the exact properties that meet your criteria. And then what I'll do is I'll just follow up with you in about a week to make sure you're seeing the correct listings. If there's anything I could do along the way, I'd be happy to help in any way possible. Right? And by doing that, and by setting up that search and sending that email and following up in a week, you'll find out that 8 out of 10 times you're going to earn the business by doing that, because you've followed through, you've offered them value, you've given them something that their agent hasn't given them, and they can determine way early on, just by that professionalism, that you're a better option to work with than the current agent that they have. Guys, the other one, and I'll touch on this one really quick, is it's kind of along the same line of I'm not interested. Many times you'll get people that will go, I'm at work, I can't talk right now. It's not a good time to talk, right? That again is the oldest trick in the book, right? It's the oldest trick in the book. 99% of the time, if somebody's at work, if they can't talk right now, if it's a bad time, then guess what? They're not going to answer your phone call. Right? They're not going to pick up the call when they're on the treadmill at the gym. They're not going to pick up a call when they're at their daughter's, 5th grade recital. They're not going to pick up the call when they're at their son's football game. If they can't talk, they're not going to pick up. If they're at work and they can't talk, they're not going to answer their cell phone. The reason I say all that is because realize that's just a smokescreen. They're just saying that to put up the guard, to stop you in your tracks. And guys, a real easy way to stop that is say, hey, listen, I know I'm at work too. This will only take a minute. I just want to make sure it's worth our time for me to even follow up. Right? Or if somebody says, I can't talk right now, I'm at work, can you call me back later? Listen, I'd be happy to call you back later. I just want to make sure that if I am going to call you back, that it's something that makes sense for you, and I want to make sure it makes sense for me because I don't want to waste either one of our times. So let me just ask you a couple questions to see if it even makes sense for me to call you back. Or if they say, I'm busy, I don't have enough time for the call. You know what? I'm busy too. I really appreciate the fact that you're busy. I'll respect your time. This will just take a couple minutes. Get right back into your questions. Go right back into your questions. So, were you thinking about making a move to Orlando? So, are you thinking about purchasing a home in the future? Again, you just want to deflect, agree with what they're saying, and then get back in to the flow of your questions. Because again, remember, you always want to handle the objection, then start asking questions, because once they start talking, now they're going to get more engaged in the phone call. So that is a brief overview of handling objections. Become a master, become a ninja, become a rock star. Once you get to the point where you know how to handle those objections, it's like they're not even saying them, and it's just a normal part of the phone call.